Okay, so hopefully, right. Hopefully, some of you will be able to see me by now. Hello. Hi, everyone. Let me know if you're there. Let's just check, see on my channel if it's there. Oh, it's there. Good. It's there. So, hopefully one of you will turn up soon. We're going to do this little live stream now. So I hope you can all hear me. It'd be good actually we have some guests, because then I'll certainly know the microphone is working, which is very important, I think. So let me know if you can hear me. Oh, Ben Grizzly. Hello. Ben, we just started. And Woody Black. Hello, Woody Black. Can you hear me all right, guys? Hey, Phil. And Pain and Death. Hello, you can hear me. Hi, Anthony Morn. Hello. Welcome. Thank you very much. And V8 Mose. Hello, V8 Mose. And Simon Tucker. And thanks, Woody. Phil Hainsworth. DJ B2. How are you? Thanks for joining me this evening. Reporting in. Great. Well, thank you very much, guys. Are you ready? In which case, shall we make space great again? Yes. Now, an awful lot has actually happened since I did my reply to Sargon of Akkad. If you remember that video I made, I was replying to Sargon of Akkad. The mainstream media coverage has been pretty predictably lukewarm. There's not really been much of interest. Hi, Tina. I'm glad you could make it, Tina. But the alternative media's gone nuts. It's just gone crazy. It's just like, really. And hello, Unite Planet. Hello, Unite Planet. I've got some. I'll have to check if you've done the videos yet, because I've actually filmed some videos with Unite Planet, and I don't know if you've got them up yet on your channel, but I'll post links if they're there. But check out Unite Planet's channel, because there's some I did a long time ago with Unite Planet as well. So I'm fine, thanks. I hope you are. So what's been going on? Well, the alternative media has been going crazy about this. It really has. Johnny, no worries. Thanks very much, guys. It's been absolutely nuts. But first of all, thanks for all your people who commented on the show notice saying you were going to be there, and I really appreciate that. Neptune Returns won't be back until 10:45 p.m. I don't know if I'll still be running to the end. It all depends on how long this live stream lasts. I did one that was over 2 hours, so in which case you'll be able to make it at the end. John Dansfield, hello, and David, who says, with all the plastic in the sea and pollution, why waste billions on space defense? We won't have anything to defend. It is to stop humans leaving planet Earth, the likes of Richard Branson, with their planned flights in space. Well, that's true, actually. I think that is true. And Vestel says, I think there is already a Space Force, and that's absolutely true. And I'll be coming to that in a minute, Vestel. And so thank you for everyone who's there. Now, I've got to apologize. When I put the show notice stuff, I said 9 p.m., but I didn't exactly mention which time zone that was. Now, of course, it's 9 p.m. British Summer Time, but silly me. Of course, I realized I've got viewers all over the world. So you may have wondered what I was talking about. So anyway, you may have kind of like, you may have assumed I meant 9 p.m. British Summer Time, but you can't be certain. Anyway, hello, Simon Tucker. And hello to Didgedo. Hi, Didgedo. And David Schultz from Ireland, Maine, USA. Oh, blimey, that's nice of you, David. I'm sorry I wasn't clear about which time zone that was, because obviously you're a few hours behind me. But thank you very much, all of you, for joining me. Now, I'll just show you some more memes, because there's loads more memes have broken out since the last time. I'll just get the camera and I'll show you the memes. There's some really good ones. Look at that. That's a good one. Look, Trump on the Starship Enterprise. Everything's going crazy. I want a Space Force. There's loads. I mean, there's just so much possibility of humor with this. I mean, the actual it's just endless, almost endless, the amount of different memes you can make for this. Trump Space Force, US Empire Summit. There's some great ones. Look, lots of Trump in spacesuits. Space Force. Oh, Trump and Pence. Yeah, there he is. Look at that. That's a good one. That's a really good one. And Darth Vader. Dear President Trump, If you want to create a space force, I'm your guy. I was once Supreme Commander of all the Galactic Empire. Give me a call when you can. Sincerely, Lord Vader. Oh, yeah. There's some absolutely fantastic ones here. Oh, yeah. Join the Space Force, yeah. More of Trump in a spacesuit. There's just endless ones here. Look, Trump, make the galaxy great again. I love it. I absolutely love it. And there he is again in Star Wars. Oh, man. Fantastic stuff. Look, oh, great one, that. Oh, here's a satirical one. China, Russia, the Death Stars. There he is. I can just go through these all day. I'm looking at some more. You heard it? I said Space Force. Look up into the sky. It's the Space Force. Yeah. Oh, man. Fantastic stuff. Space Force 1. Honestly, guys, I could just go through them all day, couldn't I? I mean, they're just you can find them yourself. Just put in Trump Space Force, and you'll see them. You'll see the various the memes, and there's some really great ones. Hi, Goonlove. Hello, how are you? Hillary could be Serverland. Yeah. Oh, you're a Blake 7 fan, Tina. Yeah, Blake 7. What best damn sci-fi series ever, that. And Anthony May. Hi, you guys. Yeah, the false alien invasion card. That's an interesting what you bring that up, Anthony, because I will be referring to that situation. But there's been several. Like I said, the alternative media has just gone nuts with this. And there's been comments everywhere, and from sources I wouldn't expect, actually. Even people I would not expect to be interested in it have taken an interest in it. Now, I'll start with the obvious, the obvious names. David Wilcock, of course, has had a lot to say, and he refers to several things posted by QAnon on 4chan. And QAnon is a contributor to the politically incorrect board on 4chan, who is alleged to be a government insider and has said an awful lot of things about how there's a secret civil war going on in the United States against the Trump loyalists and the deep state agents, the Clintons and everything, and about how there's been arrests and there's been like all other things like that. Now, it's funny that several other researchers have actually concurred with this idea there is some kind of secret civil war going on, the arrests. Mike Cernovich, for example, who's a political commentator, he's talked about how he'd seen lots and lots of cars with sirens and blue lights going around the place. But now, according to now what Wilcock says, he talks about Trump and talks about Trump about how they're going to go to Mars, and he says that's not likely to happen. They can't even get back to the moon. But then there was this thing from QAnon saying there'd be some kind of sky event. And it didn't actually say much about what that is, except it was all encoded, apparently. You had to actually get the headers of the post, and there was like this sky event statement encoded into that, which is very, very weird. And he showed a building. He showed a strange building, which seemed to consist of three towers with some kind of structure on top. And knowing he didn't exactly know what that was, he thought it might be some kind of spacecraft that had landed on top of 3 buildings. It's actually what's something called Marina Bay Sands, which is in Singapore, and it's a really interesting building because it's like there are 3 skyscrapers, and on top of all of them, there's this like walkway laid across them, which is described as a sky park, and it's designed to look like an ocean liner, but it's built on top of these buildings. According to Wilcock, the military has turned on the deep state. Now he says military as a singular, but of course the military refers to many, many different organizations, even if you don't take into account the new one that Trump is just setting up. So which branch of the military are you talking about? With the militaries of which nations? So he didn't actually specify particularly. He was referring to the US military, but then this maybe is in line with where we're talking about the possibility that there is a secret civil war going on. Oh. Excuse me. He also claimed that there would be some kind of event from the secret space program would essentially be revealed by itself, And of course, the issue of the secret space program now operating independently from the deep state is one that's come up before. And it actually came up in a previous live stream. I was talking about, I think it was the Hawaii missile attack one, where I suggested, as Michael Saller had been explaining, that what happened on Hawaii was a real missile attack, but it was thwarted by the secret space program. Because the secret space program, of course, has the technology, because it has anti-gravity craft and things like that, to actually intercept and destroy or capture or knock off course ballistic missiles, which is very interesting. Well, I'm very pleased that happened for the sake of the people in Hawaii. Now, according to Wilcock, there's actually going to be a decloaking. He calls it a decloaking, where some of the aircraft and spacecraft of the secret space program are actually going to show themselves. And he says this is all connected to, this is why Trump is doing what he's doing. And this comes up again and again. This idea that what Trump has done is actually he's setting up the world for some kind of major revelation. And this is why he said what he's said. And this has happened. Several people have said this. So it's not all. There's been a lot of. There has been some people interviewed which have been very, very negative. Now, there's a NASA astronaut called Mark Kelly who thinks he calls it a dumb idea to have a space force. He states that the US Air Force already has Space Command. And I'll come back to this because someone else refers to this. But Space Command is basically a branch of the Air Force, US Air Force, that deals with everything to do with space. And this includes the Boeing X-37B. And you may have seen some pictures of that because there's been a lot of pictures going around since Trump started talking about a space force. The Boeing X-37B is actually a space shuttle. It's an unmanned space plane. And because it's unmanned, it can stay up in space much longer than the space shuttle can. It's launched on top of a rocket into space, and it has, what it actually does is highly classified. But it's believed to have spy cameras, it functions as a spy satellite, things like that. Now, Secure Team 10, of course, had to say something about this, and indeed they did. They made a lot of interesting statements about the secret space program and about something called Solar Warden. Now, I've not looked into this in detail, but apparently it's one of the operations allegedly carried out by the secret space program, where which is involved in protecting the solar system from hostile attack, presumably by whom? I don't know, by aliens maybe, and colonizing the outer planets of the solar system. And it's incredible to think this is actually being done. But when you look into the facts of the secret development of esoterically propelled and powered craft, it's inconceivable they haven't used these things. That the secret state, the breakaway civilization, the deep state, breakaway civilization is a term that Richard Dolan uses, that they have not actually gone into space and used these things. And this sheds extra light on the revelations of Gary McKinnon. Gary McKinnon is a hacker. He's a British guy. And he hacked into NASA quite a number of years ago now and came up with some amazing information. He narrowly escaped being... So I got the yawns tonight. He narrowly escaped being extradited to the United States, where he would face massive charges relating to security breaches, damage, things like that. And if he'd done so, he'd probably be in jail for the rest of his life. As it was, his extradition was blocked by Theresa May, the Home Secretary at the time. And he was then eventually, even his prosecution in Britain was actually stopped, because if he'd been prosecuted in Britain, he'd have gone to jail, but for a shorter time, probably for 3 years or so. But even that eventually was stopped, so he was basically let off the hook. Which, according to Secure Team 10, Trump is in a sense rushing this through. What he's done is essentially an act of haste. And if it's an act of haste, what's it an act of haste for? What's it prepared? Why the need to rush? Now, there's a YouTube channel I've only recently discovered, actually, but it's really, really good. It's called Life After, it's called The World After Disclosure, I think it's called. Can't remember what it's called. Hang on a sec. What's it called? World After Disclosure, or Post-Disclosure World, or something like that. But it's really, there we go, yeah. Oh, Post-Disclosure World, that's it. And it's presented by a guy who calls himself UFO Jesus. And if you see him, the way he dresses and his hairstyle and his beard, you'll see what I mean. But he's actually got some really interesting videos. And he says that the Space Force announcements by Trump happened because of an upcoming UFO disclosure event. What's happening is, because he has an awareness of this declassified technology, he has aware of the classified technology, he knows it's coming. He knows classified technology is coming, and in a sense, he wants this Space Force is, in a sense, trying to get in there first, to be first in line for all the contracts once the anti-gravity and free energy is declassified, so he can build spacecrafts that allow America to dominate space. And he said all kinds of interesting things, because some of these things sound like pie in the sky. Space tourism. Well, I mean, space tourism at the moment consists mostly of Richard Branson and his spaceship that won't get off the ground. If you're willing to pay £20 million, you can go to the ISS. But of course, if there's going to be any real space tourism, we're going to have to find a better way of traveling in space than these steam-driven chemical rocket ships that chug laboriously into low Earth orbit and cost £1 million and weigh 100 tons. They also mentioned asteroid mining. This is another thing. This wasn't Trump himself talking about this, but it was several other people. It was actually another guy who's sitting next to him. I think he's the head of NASA. Talked about asteroid mining, and again, asteroid mining is a good idea in a sense. It's another staple of science fiction, because asteroids are loaded with all kinds of minerals, all kinds of useful minerals. Some of the minerals we mine on Earth have come from asteroids. But the problem is, if you're going to, it's inconceivable that asteroid mining would be possible unless we have some different kind of technology, because if you do it using the technology exists to do that now using rockets. You could send rockets up to mine the asteroids, but then every single pound of a mineral that is actually recovered from the asteroid would cost £10 million because of the price of conventional spaceflight. So it would be economically impossible. I mean, if you're going to try and sell a pound of mineral for £10 million, I think you might be undercut slightly by Earth-bound producers. So, but asteroid mining will become feasible economically if there is free energy and anti-gravity declassified. This guy from NASA referred to space manufacturing as well. Now, space manufacturing is interesting because he talks about there are certain substances that can only be created or created best in artificial gravity, in zero gravity. So you can actually build, I know you can build some metallic alloys can be created at a far higher quality, much stronger, if they are built in zero gravity, because you don't get like the convection currents in the mixture and things like that, which you do if you're smelting metal in a magnetic field. There's also possible medical breakthroughs in space. Well, again, that could have something to do with zero gravity. Lunar colonization. I mean, this is real. And Trump wants a moon base. Trump has said there should be a moon base. But lunar colonization refers to a permanent colony on the moon, which is absolutely, you'd think, a pipe dream, considering the fact that NASA doesn't even know how they're going to get back to the moon. And that in itself is a very weird thing, because they allegedly sent 6 missions up there in the space of just 8 years. But with 8 years planning, they actually got Apollo 8. It's actually coming up to the 50th anniversary of Apollo 8, the first man-moon lunar mission. It's not the most famous. Apollo 11 was the most famous because that's where they landed. Apollo 8 just circled the moon and came back. Apollo 11 was the 3rd manned mission to the moon. But this was just after Kennedy did his famous speech in 1961. We choose to go to the moon in this decade. We will land a man on the moon before this decade is out, and return him safely to Earth. Well, they did that in the space of 8 years, but now they're talking, it's going to take probably another 50 years to get back to the moon. I mean, what the hell? Using 21st century technology and all the budget that space exploration now has, including private money from private investors like Elon Musk, and that's going to take 50 years to get back. Pull the other one. But no, they're talking about lunar colonization, so they don't just want to go back there. Some people want to live there. Well, I don't know. The place wouldn't have much of an atmosphere, would it? Trump wants a military moon base. Now, the idea of a space force makes sense, despite what several people have said, because James Mattis, who's Secretary of Defense, and Senator Bill Nelson, who's another senior person within that field, are against the Space Force. They said it would just be too much bureaucracy. It would just be, and again, just like the astronaut Mark Kelly, they say, well, the US Air Force already does that. But you see, there's a parallel here with when aircraft were invented, because the first military units using aircraft were like the Royal Flying Corps. And well, the Army Air Force, of course, which captured the flying disc in Roswell. Is because aviation was a new technology, so it was handed over to. So there was the Royal Flying Corps, there was the Royal Navy Air Service, or what it was called, and then these were amalgamated. These were amalgamated into the Royal Air Force and the U.S. Air Force. Although the Royal Navy still has the Fleet Air Arm, and indeed the U.S. Navy has its own aviation. But of course, they created a separate air force. Now, space is perhaps similar. What will happen is what's done with Space Command will simply be renamed and called a Space Force, and it will be organized separately. And of course, James Mattis, he doesn't want the extra paperwork, so he's probably against it for that reason. And the disclosure guy, Post Disclosure World, the UFO Jesus, he says, I think what he says here doesn't really quite make sense, because the Space Forces still couldn't beat aliens. In the sense that we would be helpless anyway if the aliens decided to attack. I don't know if he's been watching Independence Day or what, but what's interesting there is that I think there may be something connected with this. If there is some kind of disclosure, it may be fake disclosure. I mean, it may be something as dramatic as a fake alien invasion. I hope not. Or it may be something a little bit more subtle. For example, it may be something like, for example, they come clean and they said, okay, we'll admit aliens are real. Okay, we've known since Roswell. Sorry we didn't tell you, but you see, they're evil, they're nasty, they're out to get us. So we kept it quiet because it was a military secret. So it's time to forgive us so that we can unite to defend our planet against the alien threat. Now, I had a conversation with Bryce Zabel about this when he spoke at the 2011 Leeds Exopolitics Expo, because he said this. He says, if the aliens turn out to be bad, we might just have to forgive the government for keeping it secret for so long. And I said to him, well, look, Bryce, is it possible the government will say these aliens are evil even if they're not, so they can dig themselves out of that rather tricky hole they've dug themselves into? They never underestimate the creativity of spin doctors. And it's... This is always a possibility that they will just say that anyway, because they don't want to have to admit they kept it secret for their benefits, because they're going to have to. People are going to say, why did you keep it secret when you had the power to transform the world? You could have revolutionized human society by taking this, removing the need for fossil fuels and having energy that costs nothing means, there'd be no poverty, there'd be no environmental destruction, all these wars for oil. It's all been for nothing. It was all preventable. And you could have prevented it simply by telling us you had this technology. I mean, can you just imagine what that means? I mean, whoever the buck stops with in that situation is not going to be a man other politicians will envy. So that is a possibility. This may be what we're looking at now. Right, what's this? So somebody sent to me about Alex Jones, yeah. Someone wrote to me about Alex Jones talking about the secret space program, and I checked it out, and that's true. Alex Jones has gone back to his roots, because everyone who knows Alex Jones knows that he started off as a conspiracy theorist. So he's pretty much on our sort of level, going on about Bohemian Grove and the Bilderberg Group. In recent years, he's moved more into more conventional political ideals, and he's become kind of alt-right or alt-light, as he's sometimes called. But he's generally doesn't talk about the same esoteric things that he used to. And in fact, as you know, I think I've talked about this on a previous live stream. somebody brought up the idea of child slavery on Mars. Oh, I did an entire video about this, actually. If you check it out, it was on VidMe originally, but I put it up on YouTube now when VidMe shut down. The child slavery on Mars situation. He immediately shut this bloke down. This guy was talking about child slavery. Yeah, child slavery is on the Mars bases for the secret space program. And Alex just, no, we're not going to talk about that because that's the kind of thing that people use to discredit us. So we're going to move on from there right now. Well, now he's sort of gone back to that because he was introducing Jack Posobiec, who's like a researcher, a guy who used to work in the Black Projects or something. And he did this interview with him and he talked about this. And he talked about the secret space program in all seriousness. And he says that Trump wants to disclose. He said that this is another, like the disclosure Jesus. Alex is basically saying that Trump wants disclosure and that's why he's doing it. And it's all a part of Trump's 4D chess maneuvering to a position where there'll be disclosure. And to be honest, that could be true. It could be either at the moment. It could be simply, it could be something leading towards a fake alien invasion or something related to that, as I've explained, which is bad for us if that's what he's planning on doing. Alternatively, this could be a first move towards disclosure. I don't know. I mean, the consensus seems to be the latter. I'm just not sure. But anyway, all that stuff has happened since I did my video, my reply to Sargon of Akkad. Sargon of Akkad has just gone live as well. So I'm competing with him tonight. So a big hello to everyone in chat. I hope I can get you all there. Okay, some of these have been held for review. That's all right. I'll just I'm going to I'm just because I don't know. This is something new. Where are we? Because some of your comments have not been displayed, but I've just displayed them. Right. Phil Hainsworth says, Ben, are you still okay to give me a guided tour of Oxford? Yeah, sure. I will do, but you say a couple of weeks. I won't be available probably for a bit longer than that because I'm going away for a while. I'm going to Newcastle. Hi, Didge and David Schultz. And Tina, will Gary McKinnon apply? Do you mean appeal? Or apply? Oh, apply. So apply. Well, Tina, I said when McKinnon was exposed, and they were talking about appropriating him to Guantanamo Bay. I said, why don't the Secret Service just simply offer him a job? He has skills and he has abilities, and he also might have a few secrets he's holding back just for safety. I sometimes think that Gary McKinnon actually has held back an awful lot of what he knows and used it as a bargaining chip. Used it, one of these kind of things like, because he must have been feared for his life for a while. He said, look, if you kill me, this stuff hits the internet. And that might have been keeping him alive. I got a feeling that maybe Julian Assange and what's the other guy, Snowden, might have done the same. David Schultz, it could be Trump's Starship Troopers. Yeah, I don't know if any of you seen the film Starship Troopers since we last spoke, since I did my last video, because it's a bloody good film. It's really excellent. It's by Paul Verhoeven, the guy who did RoboCop. And it's just like RoboCop in the sense that it has this pitch black humor and it's very satirical. It's a superb film. Hi, Goonlove. And Hillary could be Servalan. Yes, indeed. Although Servalan's not as nasty. Anthony Morn says false flag alien. The false flag Asian invasion card. That's right. Hey, tinfoil hat lady. Hello. It's good to talk to you again, tinfoil hat lady. This is great soft disclosure. We already have a base on the moon, which you mentioned, and we are already on Mars, which he mentioned. Yeah, I love you, President Trump. Yeah. I mean, I've got my faith back a bit in Trumpy actually, because after I thought he might be compromised, it seems he is still fighting back. Okay, David, cult leader Wilcox, says DJ B2. Is he a cult leader? I don't know. I mean, I don't know much. I don't follow David Wilcox very closely. I've seen a few of his videos, but I mean, he puts out so much. And to be honest, I didn't go along with a lot of it. He's not, he said some pretty weird things over the years, which don't make sense. Oh, something odd about Wilcox, says Tina. I don't know if he looks, I wonder if he's actually completely human. Maybe he's a hybrid or something. I don't know. He looks a bit weird. Oh, did you see that picture of Julius Caesar? He looks like an alien too. So they've reconstructed Julius Caesar's face and his head, and he looks like from several different sculptures of him. This is not a reconstruction of This is not a reconstruction of from his body. No one knows where his body is, I don't think. But I swear to you, he has an alien-shaped head. I'll probably write an article on that. Phil, I've seen all your messages so far. I think. Feel free to repeat any you think I missed. Tinfoil Hatley, draining the swamp is code for the secret civil war. I hope so. You know, Tinfoil Hatley, I really, really do. And I'll help him any way I can. If Trump and the secret space program really are turning on the deep state, I'll assist them in any way I can. They just got to call on me, and I'm ready for action. Because this could be the beginning of the end, or even the end of the beginning of the new the end of the new world order. Anthony Morn, I don't believe there's a rover on Mars. It's a NASA con. They're really on Devon Island, North Canada. Fact. Well, that's Anthony. You know, there's a lot to be said for that. I assume you've been watching Rich Planet and the program that Richard G. Hall has been doing about this. Yeah, I mean, the case he's put together is pretty conclusive. I've actually got his book somewhere. I bought Richard's book, his hypothesis book. Yeah, it looks pretty. It looks pretty something, quite something actually. Now, Tina, has anyone heard from Julian Assange? I haven't actually. Now, there was talk couple of months ago about him being released. Now, I haven't heard anything since. I know Richard on Rich Planet thinks that he's dodgy and he's actually not really in there, or that he comes and goes because he appeared in a recording studio. That's possible. It's possible he's like controlled opposition or something. I don't know. But maybe we'll find out. But there was talk about him being released. There was going to be a deal done with Ecuador to get him out of the embassy so he could get to the airport and be taken to Ecuador in a diplomatic bag. Not heard anything since then, but he must be. If he is really trapped in that place, he must be driving him up the wall. And presumably it's better than Guantanamo, but I know that the rape charges in Sweden have been dropped against him. He was charged originally with sexual assault in Sweden, and it's turned out to be nonsense. It was subjected to 3 independent judicial reviews. They threw it out, and eventually the authorities in Sweden they dropped the charges too. So this was the reason the government said they wanted him. They were going to arrest him, and if they don't have that reason now, then what's he got to be afraid of? So Tinfoil Hatley says the Space Force is already established. It's just he's calling it out to the public. Well, yeah, I hope so, Tinfoil Hatley. They really do, because I know the Space Force exists. There's both in the US Air Force Space Command, but also the Secret Space Program. There'll be a military wing of that as well. Possibly that was what trapped and grabbed those missiles that were fired at Hawaii, which was going to be a false flag attack to be blamed on North Korea. I've done an entire live stream about that. And the recording is still there if you want to watch that live stream. DJ B2. I hope it's more Starship Troopers than Super Troopers. So you're not an ABBA fan then? Oh well, I'm not really. Unite Planet said, have you heard of the X-37B military space plane? Yes, I mentioned that earlier. It's made by Boeing. It's essentially a space shuttle. It's unmanned, so it can stay up in space for a very, very long time. It's controlled remotely like a drone. But what it actually does is classified, but it obviously has served some purpose up there, probably related to reconnaissance. It probably has a camera on it, and it functions like the spy satellites. Diego Rivera and Eugenio Velasquez. Oh dear. So you're not going to have a go at me about the Bigfoot again, are you? No. Beam me up, Scotty. You've seen two. Oh, you've seen them, Tina. Are you talking about the X-37B? DJ B2, I'll believe it when I see it. Wilcox info is a bit dodgy. Yeah, I know, that's true. Definitely. Ian Bennett. Hi, Ian. Good to talk. Good to hear from you again. I've been meaning to join your live streams, and I haven't yet. Sorry about that. GS Evolved. Hello, GS. Emperor Mong, another familiar face. Any decent sci-fi on Netflix? Oh, there's loads. I mean, well, if you want, I think the best film I can recommend based on this subject is what I've already talked about, Starship Troopers by Paul Verhoeven. Do go and watch that. I've got the DVD back there somewhere. I'll probably watch it now because I'm in the mood. But it's bloody brilliant. It's funny. It's interesting. It's very satirical, and it'll make you laugh and make you think. So GSF, hi Ian, and Pain and Death, the New World Order. Hi. Diego Vera says, will they employ Bigfoot for Space Wars like Star Wars? You had to bring up Bigfoot, didn't you, Diego? Yeah. I don't know if they've got any plans for that. You better ask Deborah Hatswell. She'll know. She knows about this sort of thing. Diego Rivera, will English Bigfoot become Chewbacca in space? Well, I've often wondered about how similar Chewbacca is to the Bigfoot, the classic Bigfoot, isn't he? Very large, slightly above human. He's played by a guy who's 7'9", called Peter Mayhew, who used to be a hospital porter. Pride and Dignity. My brother porter Peter Mayhew. Yeah, he was a hospital porter. He was at Guy's Hospital in London. And he was so big they couldn't get a uniform for him, so you had to have one specially made. Right, Tina. Tina's just sent me a message on Facebook. Tina, what's happened is I did a little narrative. Okay, so I'm not answering the comments as they appear. I did a little narrative to open the live stream, just a lead off, and now I'm answering questions. So I'm going to be answering your questions a little bit late. So yeah, I mean, so he did. He had to have a special uniform made for him, but then he became an actor, so he left hospital porter and decided to follow a civilian career. Anthony Moore says, "Fuck the New World Order." Exactly. Stephen, hello, Stephen, homeless truth seeker. Oh, I hope you find a home, mate. How are you? So Tina, you saw a triangular silent black craft in 1984, close up. Oh, well, tell me about that later. Maybe when I see you, or you can contact me on Facebook about that. Because I've met Tina, actually. She does exist. She doesn't live too far from me. So she's not just one of these sock puppets. She actually exists in real life. The aliens are coming, says Diego. Well, maybe they are. I don't know. But I hope they may be coming, but they're probably afraid they blow our minds, as David Bowie says. Another one I've got to approve. Ashton Young, greetings. Hi, Bardi Films. Have you got strong coffee? Well, I have finished it now, but yeah, I did. They're treacle mines, says Tina. Treacle, is that? Are you talking about the aliens and the way they look at Earth? Keith M1 says, there is no fucking space. Jesus, a planet full of retards. All right, are you a flat earther, Keith? That's not a trip-up question. If you are, I mean, I disagree with you, but I'm not going to get arsey with you if you're a flat earther. Some of my best friends are flat earthers, as they say. But that's true. How will they get through the... yeah. Oh, how will they get through the firmament? What's beyond... Interestingly, for you flatties, right? What's outside this firmament, outside this dome that's 1 million miles across or something? Do we really need belters? They will cause war with Mars, says DJB2. That's probably some kind of computer game reference, isn't it? Bruce Willis, says Stephen. He'll blow up anything, yeah. Send the English Bigfoot up there, yeah. Captain Black lived on the moon base. Oh, that's Captain Scarlet, isn't it? The TV, the puppet show. Yes, I remember that, and that was very good. That was like one of the more adult ones they did, and it was pretty good. They are 19 years behind, says DJB2. Is that what you're talking about? Public technology versus secret technology? It's far more than that. It's far more than 19 years, DJ. As I think, was it not Seth Rich, a guy who worked for Lockheed Skunk Works? He said we could take ET home. Emperor Mong, the Van Allen belt is lethal to humans. Well, it is lethal. I mean, it's very dangerous. Now, according to NASA, it's all right. We if you go through it quickly, there won't be a problem. You know, that's how they got the guys to the moon, because they just went through it quickly and they went through one of the weaker parts of it. But Anthony Morton, as he says here, no one's ever been to the moon. Well, they have through the secret space program, but the Apollo missions were faked. Now, the Van Allen belt you're right about the Van Allen belt, except nobody knew much about it at the time. All they knew, there was very intense radiation in space. And so they were sending these astronauts into a place they hadn't really studied in great detail. It was only discovered in 1959, the Van Allen belts, and that was just 2 years before Kennedy's announcement. So, I mean, of course, they all got home safe, didn't they? Well, it's easy to say that afterwards, isn't it? Not so easy beforehand. United Planet says, yes, we throw the technology away. Yeah. Build council houses on the moon, says Diego Rivera. Well, is that? Are we going to send the criminals there and all the chavs and everything like that? Then is that the plan? We get rid of the chavs. We get rid of those annoying young women with tattoos all over their chests and things like that. Vicky Pollard on the moon. Yeah, but no, but yeah, but no, but yeah, but no, but yeah, but it's not bad up here, really. But I want to be back down on Earth, you know. Yeah, and anyway, Sheila Wilkins says this about me and that about me. David Schultz says the nations of the world will be forced to unite in the next few, but the next war will be an interplanetary war. Douglas MacArthur, all right. So he was quite big. Douglas MacArthur. Let's look him up. Douglas MacArthur, there we go. Douglas MacArthur, from January 1880, 5th of April 1964, 5-star general, field marshal of the Philippine Army, chief of staff of the United States Army, and served in World War II and the Philippines campaign. Yeah. So he was a very high-ranking individual. He was he commanded he was part of United Nations Command, Supreme Command, Allied Powers. Served in numerous wars, the Korean War, loads of medals. Yeah, so he's not the kind of tinfoil hat wearing lunatic standing on a hillside in Wales with a camera pointed at the sky like you and me, would he? With mud up to his Wellingtons. Not that's necessarily a bad thing. No offence, Win Keach. But he said that. That's interesting. He said that. Someone in that position would say that. Hello, Antiseptic. You can't pitch a tent on the moon, Steve. No, we wouldn't expect you to. We have nukes and railguns and pew-pews too. The pew-pews are the lasers. That's right. GX Space Runner. That's an interesting name. It's so drawn out, for God's sake. That's it. And then we have Bumbleina 77. I think this is a mask. It'll be watching Bigelow and the other privateers in the shadows, as I think this is a cover for their future operations. Well, it could be, Bumbleina, because Bob Bigelow was already, in a sense, admitted, and he's been exposed, if exposed is the word, because he's not done anything criminal as such. But he did get involved in a covert government operation to do with, related to UFOs. He was involved in this analysis of various materials related to the Luis Elizondo thing. And Bigelow was a part of that. So he signed the Official Secrets Act, and he did all that. DJ Boots says the Zabel Dolan book is a good read. Yeah, I've got a copy of it here. I've got there we go. There we go. It's covered in dust. Here we go. But there it is. Yeah. AD after disclosure, and signed by the authors. But I've got another copy. I've been reading it, actually. It's for research purposes. I think this is it, is it? No. Because I don't want to read that, because it's signed and everything. So I got myself a cheap paperback as well. But there's a lot of stuff in here that's not in the first edition. But it's bloody good. Yeah, it is really, really good. So yeah, it's worth getting that book. I got that was only like about £5 online. So yeah, definitely worth reading that. Definitely. Jack Space Runner says the TTSA is taking so long to release new info. They might be waiting until the new election. Very depressing. Well, it depends who wins. If Hillary runs again, then God help us. Hang on, where are we? I think we've gone a bit too far. Oh, right. Diego Rivera, Klingons on the starboard bow, Captain. That was a song, wasn't it? Star Trekking across the universe. Yeah. Tina. Pew Pew Barney McCrew. Exactly, Ben. That's the way it will go down. Yeah. Not trusting Alex Jones. Well, Alex Jones, I know, is a controversial figure. I don't like the way he seems to have abandoned his earlier ideas, which I think were very important because he did some good work in terms of the New World Order and stuff like that. And he's moved more into conventional politics. And I think that's a mistake. Sure, it's given him a wider audience, but he hasn't. There's just too much. I don't know. There's just it's just too much else going on. You have to take into account. Actually, has lost all credibility with support for Trump and Israel. Yeah, I mean, I don't like the way he never mentions Israel, does he? I've never heard him mention Israel, and that's very worrying. Unite Planet, yeah. Trump is not in control, says Jack Spacer. Well, it doesn't. I think he's trying to get back into control. Diego Rivera says Ben believes there are child slaves on Mars. Yes, that's true. Your point being, is that a problem? Julian Carver. Hi, Julian. Dark Journalist, says Tina, is doing an X series related to Uncle Trump receiving the Tesla secrets. Is that Trump's uncle? I don't know, because his father was quite rich too, although he's mostly self-made, but I don't know what his family background is in that sense, except his family comes from Scotland. Jack Space Runner says we need any disclosure immediately. We are in a lot of trouble with the environment. It's much worse than the scientists now. Yeah, exactly. It's simply the use of fossil fuels is so much of a liability in terms of the environment, in terms of the economy, in terms of everything. It's Stone Age technology. We should have left it behind with the Ark. Unite Planet says Trump may, none in control, never have been. Well, I think they were for a while, Unite Planet, but it seems like everything's gone wrong. Hi, Antiseptic. Sargon is doing the political compass test. Oh, right, that's what his live stream's about. Well, DJ, I'm flattered that you prefer me to old Uncle Carl. I really am. So thank you very much for joining me instead of him. There's someone here called KJH, is an unpronounceable name. There's a name with lots of H's and J's in and K's. Do you know the Zimbabwe school children UFO case? I think it's the most persuasive. Yeah, that's the Rua incident. HJ. I'll call you HJ. Is that all right? Because he's that was where there was these kids in the school called the Ariel School, and it was 1994. This happened, and this craft came down. There were aliens everywhere. These kids. I mean, there's a guy called Randall Nicholson who's making a film about it. He's actually making a documentary. He's managed to track these kids down. Most of them have left the country, which you can't blame them. And they're all over the world now. But they're now in their late 20s and early 30s. But they stand by their story. And if it was some kind of prank they were playing as a kid, how many pranks did you play as a kid which you still pretend are true today? Very, very interesting case indeed. Richard Kinzed. Hi, Richard. Any thoughts on RDH's Jill Dando film? Not sure he's onto something a bit circumstantial. Yeah, I mean, I had the honour and privilege to actually attend some of Richard's live shows, and they're really interesting. And I always thought it was like the Serbian angle, but Richard's come up with something extra, which I think is extremely worth putting in. I mean, there's no doubt it's dodgy. There's no doubt. I mean, the guy who was jailed was released on appeal, and the case is officially open, but no one's talking about it much. Hi, Sir Honourable. Ben is still supporting the New World Order and Trump. Diego, when's your birthday, Diego? Let me know, because I think I'll buy you a new record. DJ B2. I was lucky enough to get free tickets for Starship Troopers when it came out. Yeah. Oh, did you? Courtesy of Buena Vista. Oh, I bet. Did you enjoy it, DJ? I thought it was excellent. Hi, Lee. Jack Space Runner says, we are E.T. It all has to do with the pre-birth and post-death condition manifesting our reality. Is this idea that some of the aliens actually talk about, where we're like spiritual beings and we come into a human body and things like that? Because that is very, very interesting, that. Diego Rivera, Ben supporting the Israel-US president. He calls himself an alternative theorist. As I said to you in the comments reply video, Diego, you need to you need to be more. If you really want a serious discussion on this matter, I'll have one with you. But if you're going to talk in two-line polarities, then it's going to get you nowhere. All right, because I can't unpick what you're saying. 69 Phuket. May the force be with you, and also with you. The Celtic Rebel, says DJB, has a better theory on Julian Assange. Has he? I've not looked at him for a while. Hang on. I know the guy you mean. Oh, where is it? Yeah, Celtic, here we are. Alex. Oh, he calls Alex Jones, does he? Oh yeah. I mean, I've looked at he's not done a video for a while. I don't think. His last video was 3 years ago. I think that's when I was watching him. But what's he say? What does he say about Julian Assange, DJ? Hi, 69 Phuket. Unite Planet says, if all the charges are dropped, why is Assange still in the embassy? Good question, Unite Planet. I don't understand. There was some talk about him getting out a little while ago. And he's all gone quiet. And as far as I know, he's still in there. Neptune returns. Hey, Neptune. Diego came out of the closet yesterday. Oh, bless him. Well, I always had a feeling about you, Diego, I must say, but we won't hold it against you. That's all right. Where we are. When do you think Tom DeLonge will release more stuff? I don't know, Jack. He seems to have gone quiet. I mean, he's sort of resting on his laurels right now. I'm hoping this won't just go away. I mean, somebody describes Tom DeLonge as, I think it was Andrew Johnson said he was like the new Stephen Greer. But I do hope he comes out with something interesting at some point, something new. Phuket says, of course, you know I'm not sold on the reality of space. Are you not, Phuket? Are you a flatty? I don't mind you if you're a flatty, honestly. Because I don't hold you against you, but Uranus returns. No. Emperor Mong. Sin it. I thought I was drunk, so I better watch it again, methinks. Oh, Emperor, yeah, go and see it, man. Go and see that film. I'll get the DVD out probably, maybe not tonight, because I'll probably be too tired, but maybe in the next couple of days I'll get the DVD out and watch it again. Dark Star is probably the best space movie. I've not seen that one. Watch Annihilation. Great sci-fi, says Ben Grizzly. Oh. How are we? There's loads on Netflix as well, yeah. Why watch television, says Neptune Returns. Well, that's why I just mostly have DVDs now. I don't have a TV in my room. There's a TV in my house, but I never watch it. The others do. Diego Rivera says, Ben, will something happen in the World Cup? I don't know. There's none of the sort of like warning signs that they're planning some false flag. It's not like it was with the 2012 Olympics, where all the signs were there. I mean, every single run up to it. I mean, there was the Israeli security company. There was the logo with Zion on it. There was all kinds of weird things going on with the 2012 Olympics. I was quite relieved, actually, when nothing happened. Ray Whelan says, I have no doubt the aliens will come every day. They do. They're here all the time. They're already here. United Planet says, flat earthers all have fan clubs all around the globe. They do. Yeah. Frank Zappa said Star Wars won't work. He was a clever guy, Zappa. He was very interesting, sort of like punky stuff, He wasn't. I hope he wasn't one of these agents that Mark Devlin talks about, because Mark Devlin's a bit of an iconoclast, really, isn't he? But I mean, a lot of what he said, it's true in a lot of cases. That the CIA was controlling the music industry, and they probably still do. I believe Anthony says, I believe there's loads more domes. We're an alien experiment. Oh, good. Hi, Clive. I'm trolled by the expanses. Then we cheeched. Oh. Hi, Roger. Roger Salzgaber. Hey, how are you? Roger listens to Hapanwo Radio as well. I'm very grateful for that. And Neptune. All right. Could the English Bigfoot be LBGT? LBGT, says Diego Rivera. I don't know. The private life of some hairy creature in the woods is their business, I think. Jacob. Hey, Jacob. That's my brother Porter. See you tomorrow, brother Porter, 7 p.m. Yeah, I'll be there. Good on you. See you there, Jacob. You know, penis lover, says Jake, says Neptune. Well, why is Diego so obsessed with this creature, Neptune, isn't he? He is, isn't it? He's. I think he does protest too much, you know. Pirate Longbeard, hey pirate. The big is LGBT and smashed up the local churches. I don't know what that means. Uranus returns is stalking me, says Diego. Diego, you kind of brought it on yourself, haven't you? Because by trolling, so people are trolling you back. We must unite the armies of the north with the dwarfs of Eriador. Oh right. Oh, you're a Tolkien fan, are you? Oh, cool. Where are we? Oh, I've just lost my place again. It keeps slipping. Where am I? Gonna go back. Okay, Emperor Monk. Right, okay. Silent Running, a tearjerker. Yes, a good movie. Also a tearjerker. Yes, I don't want to watch that again actually because it's very emotionally draining. But it's a really, really good dystopian sci-fi movie. Brilliant. I know Mike and the Mechanics wrote a song about it. It's absolutely great. Anthony Moore, I don't know if Starship Troopers is on Netflix. I don't have Netflix, but it's a sort of mainstream movie. It should be. Ben, what about the World Cup? Have you seen the satanic logo, says Diego Rivera? Let's have a look. World Cup logo. Well, it has like a Russia 2018. It has like a Russia sort of Russian. Yeah, it's a kind of like it's the World Cup shape with a big ball on top, and it has like three. Is there a 666 encoded in those three circles? Is that what you're saying? I don't know. Perhaps that's what you mean. I don't know. Right, where are we? A nuclear symbol, like the radiation symbol. Oh, yeah, I suppose it is, isn't it? It's a bit like that. Or the biohazard symbol, rather. Ben Grizzly says, all right, talking about films again. With a red satanic tail. Yeah, it does have sort of like fork tail that you get with. It's like that old BT logo. Hi, Gary. How are you? Takeo Itagaki. Hello, Takeo. Now, I think you introduced me earlier on another thread, on another video, and I didn't know you, but I'll look you up because I think you've just written me up. You've actually sent me another message. Do I know Terry Joyce? Yes, I do. I'm a big fan of hers. Christine Hart, yes. Sarah Adams, yeah, I've met Sarah Adams. I've met her when she was over in England. Jolene Seabacker, I don't know, and I've never met. But those other three ladies I really like. Alex Jones came out today simply saying Joe Rogan is a shill. Oh, please. Rogan and Josh. Yeah, that's a good. I made a joke about that with some friends the other day. I said, what do you call a controversial radio host who's also a chef at a curry house? Joe Rogan Josh. But this idea, somebody's a shill. Guess what? Somebody calls someone else a shill. It's kind of like, it's just cliche, isn't it? Julian Carver says, Alex Jones, to be honest, comes off as one of those off his head these days and completely untrustworthy. Well, when he stripped his top off and started running around the studio, bare chested, I sort of like, it's one of those look away and blush moments. It really is. Touch VPNs. Yeah, okay. Anthony, I hope you enjoy Starship Troopers, and now you've had a bong. Ray Wheeler, Trump is part of the normal network of power. Yeah, I've heard that all the time, Ray. Trump is just a deeper part of the conspiracy. Why can't you see it, Ben? Why can't you see it? I talked about that on my last video, I think. Where are we? Tina says, what's happened now? Oops. What's happening? Oh, my monitor. My monitor became unplugged. Can you all see me still? Right, Tina. Where Tina had a comment? Where was it? Tina. Oh, right, yeah. There's a new pyramid in the Serpentine Lake in London, open on 21st of June. That's right. Is that thing made of oil barrels or something? I don't know what that is. Some kind of modern artwork. I mean, S. Williamson, what's his name? He made a video about that, and I watched a bit of it, and I don't know what the hell it means, but it looks dodgy. I mean, I might go down there with my camera and have a. But in fact, it was opened on the summer solstice. It's this thing made of oil barrels. I might take my Panlo TV camera down there if I've got time, which I probably won't. But it might. I don't know how long it's going to be there. Not long, I hope, because it looks awful. It completely ruins the natural atmosphere of Hyde Park. Here we go. Oh, we go. Right. Takeo. I know Sarah Adams. Yes, I do. Yes, she's a nice young lady. Julian Carver. Richard's Jill Dando film was a real eye opener. Not at all what I was expecting on the case. Me neither, Julian, because I didn't know anything about the material he was talking about. Didn't know anything except the connection with Serbia. And this was, I think I talked about this on a previous video, but there was very good reason to think that it was a Serbian job because of the woman who got killed in the NATO air raid on Belgrade, this TV personality. And the Blair covered it up because he wanted Serbia to join the EU. Just gonna get some more drink. So play amongst yourselves for a moment. I've got this jug of water, right? And this is what I cover it up with. David Icke. I use David Icke's DVD to cover the jug of water so I don't get bits in the jug of water. Right. Oh, where are we? Okay. Yeah, Jill Dando, yeah. Diego repeats. He does Neptune Returns. Like I said, he needs a new record. 69 Phuket. So Lockheed Martin going to make some TIE fighters or what? They probably already have, you know. Tekao, yes, I know Miles. Yes, I know him. He's doing all right. Last time I met him. Bonjour toi, salut mec. Est-ce que vous parlez français? Not very well, I'm afraid. Je ne parle pas très bien. Yeah, Diego, I've had a look at the World Cup logo, and it's very interesting indeed. Anthony, you can't find Starship Troopers. We're watching Cowboys and Aliens. Oh, right, that'd be good. I'm sorry, Starship Troopers is not on Netflix. I'm surprised it's not. I really am. Diego Rivera, the alien thing. Maybe I shouldn't have said it. I'm regretting saying that actually, but there's a story behind it which I will tell at some point. But it's quite personal. Okay, but it's just something that came into my head, and I said it because I think it's right. Uranus Returns really loves Ben. Oh, well, I hope he does. Hi, Vrillon. Vrillon Aura is there. Now, Vrillon Aura is also somebody who actually exists because I've met him. He exists in the real world, unlike most of you internet people who are just sort of like sock puppets and things like that. Vrillon Aura actually exists, as does Tina. Xandor with Sean Connery. I've not seen that one. Night Skies is a great film. This is Pain and Death, The New World Order. Not seen that one. Dark City says Rain Rhythm. Hi, Rain Rhythm. Yes. Dark City is excellent. That's a real like Matrix-like movie. That is very good. HQ Comms S65 from Glastonbury. You live in Glastonbury HQ, and it's roasting. Yeah, well, certainly was today. I'll tell you, I was out working in it, and I got absolutely hot. Luckily, I didn't have any sort of like heavy gardening to do. Well, I did a bit, but I had to do it. It was just like trimming hedges and things like that. I had to do today. There's no digging and stuff like that. So I'd got really hot if I'd done that. Zappa wasn't punk, was he? Oh, right. I just thought he was, but no. All right. I hope Devlin doesn't discover something shady about the KLF, says Julian Carver. I do too, because I mean, I love the KLF, and I think they're really fantastic, and I'd be really disappointed if it turns out they're dodgy. Although, I mean, obviously you've got to go with the evidence, and if the evidence says this, and you've got to go with it. But I've got to, yeah. Oh, Silent Running was really sad, DJ. I got absolutely heartbreaking film. Yeah. The biohazard symbol on that, is that on the World Cup? Yes. I don't know what's happening with the World Cup, Diego. I mean, something could happen. I don't know, but I thought Tina says I thought Silent Running was about the Jamaican bobsleigh team. That's Cool Running. Well, that's very good as well. That's a comedy. That's very good. Slipstream. I don't know that one. Change this. Hugo Rune. Hey, Hugo. Films are boring. Change the subject, but it depends which film it is, Hugo, because some of them are pretty good. Ryan Are you Ryan on Facebook? Are you the guy I know from Facebook? Hi, David. Hi, Ryan. Oh, I'm a Russian bot. I'm not a sock puppet. I wear socks, says DJ Beach. I'm sorry, DJ. All right. You exist too, then, do you? I exist on the planet of love, says Alex Thorpe. David, who's seen some of the increased number of crop circles in Wiltshire? I haven't looked at crop circles. Colin Woolford has been posting them all over the bases group. And I've seen a few of them. Some of them are beautiful. I've not looked much into crop circles this year. Diego Rivera, what do you think about Planet 9? Do you believe it is real? I think it is because it's been studied. I mean, they know more. They know there's some gravitational anomaly out there beyond Neptune, which is affecting the orbit of Neptune. And Neptune Returns will be interested in that. So it's something out there. Yeah, some large planet out there. Fire in the Sky is based on a true story, said David. Yes, it is. It's based on Travis Walton effect, although the actual abduction scene is not based. There's been a lot of artistic license with that, and I know Travis doesn't like that film, but it's still a good movie. Ryan C. Trump called Maxine Waters a low IQ person. Maxine Waters a low IQ person. Who is Maxine Waters? I've heard that name. David, did they burn £1 million, the KLF? Yes, they did. That was quite good, that was. Highlander, that's a good film, yeah. KLF funded Crocodile Dundee to lose money. Then it made a fortune. Did they? They funded the film Crocodile Dundee, because Crocodile Dundee is a really good comedy. It's a really good film. And they funded that, and then they burnt them. They bought a dodgy racehorse. It turned out to be a star. It's just, you see, Tina, they couldn't lose money even by trying. Maybe that's how they had to burn it. Maxine Waters is a black Democrat person. Oh, right. Okay. I've heard that name before somewhere. But I see. Okay. David says, many crop circles also in Switzerland and Holland appearing. Oh, really? That's interesting. Okay, so the racehorse is called the KLF, Tina. Did it, and it turned out to be a big star. Oh, wow. That's interesting that they tried so hard to lose money and couldn't. And then they ended up making money. They had to burn it. Diego Rivera, do you know the song Earthquake, Ben? No, I don't. Who's that by? And Maxine Moore Waters, an American politician serving as U.S. representative for California's 43rd Congressional District. All right. Thanks, Phuket. Obviously, she's not a fan of the Trumpster. And they've had an argument. Teeny Temper. All right. No, I've not heard of that. 9 a.m. KLF, was it? 3 a.m. Eternal, I think you mean, David. No, she hates him. Oh, right. Well, Trump is the kind of guy who's a love or hate, isn't he? You know. Right, I think I've covered everything now. I've got into the secret space program, all the secret space program stuff I've done before. I don't know if there's anything else you want to talk about. Ireland is set for a biggest heat wave since 1976, 31 degrees. Oh, my goodness, Ray. Stay in the shade, won't you? The video at the end shows something similar to the World Cup logo. All right. Does that mean, Diego, that there might be an earthquake in Russia that might cause damage? Trump and his Space Force, yeah. Watch the video earthquake. Okay. Excuse me. Oh, hang on. Tiny temper earthquake. Okay. Okay, I've got this video here. I've got the ad. Get out, don't worry. Oh dear. Hang on. So there's a long ad on this one, so and there's no skip button. Okay, I'll watch the video. I've never heard of this. I've never heard of Tiny Temper. I've heard of. Okay. Oh, I'm not going to watch the whole thing. I'm just going to skip through it in bits and pieces. But what's the end? Oh yeah. Yes, there's a kind of ball thing hanging in the air, and it's got like it's got like these 3 circles on it, which are actually like speakers. That's interesting. That. Well, thanks for the information, Diego. Because I mean, that's really weird. Okay. Good-looking honky says Ben. Peter North here from America. Old porn star. Great stream. Oh well. Thanks, Peter. Thanks, Peter. Thank you very much. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I really am. Good UFO footages on, says David, on YouTube. The thing about the footage on YouTube is it's like that part of it which is real, and we've got this awful signal to noise ratio problem at the moment, which is really annoying because there's so many fake ones out there, and then you get like a couple that are real. But the problem is, how do you tell which is which? Emperor Monk says, would you ever invest in a night vision scope for guaranteed UFO sightings? Bit Diado. I actually have. Someone's actually going to give me one of their old ones because they're getting a new one. So they're going to give me their old one when I next see them. So hopefully I'll be able to get one for nothing, Emperor Mong. Tina said, anyone signed up for YouTube Premium yet, Tina? No, I haven't, Tina, because I don't know exactly what that's about. But YouTube is actually becoming a sort of no-go area for the old hardcore content creators, and I think they're trying to turn it into something mainstream. I know that Dave Cullen has said a lot about this, and so has Sargon. Good-looking honky says, Ben, wouldn't it be cool to listen to Def Leppard in space? It would indeed, yeah. I mean, it's cool to listen to Def Leppard anywhere, quite frankly. Raid Rhythm says, how do you tell if I'm real? Go to my channel. What's on your channel, Raid Rhythm? I can't actually access. There's no hyperlinks here. YouTube will be Netflix. Yes, they're going to turn. They've got this YouTube TV thing, and all the original content creators are being demonetized, and YouTube aren't like allowing people to put false flags on their content and stuff like that. It's obvious we're being handed our hats. We're going to have to go somewhere else. This is why I'm active on other platforms. I'm not putting all my eggs in the YouTube basket anymore. I'm still going to use YouTube until the wheels fall off, as Paul Joseph Watson says. But everything I get up, I upload to my other platforms. The recording of this live stream will be up on my other platforms. Ben Grizzy says, "What is the Black Knight satellite, Ben?" I don't know, Ben, except it is in orbit around Earth. So it's like it's unpowered. It's like it's in orbit. So I really don't know. David says, Gosport UFO was good recently on YouTube. Was there a UFO at Gosport? Yeah. Black Knight is a long way from home. Yeah, it's kind of like shard-shaped thing. It's like this triangular or lozenge-shaped object. It's been photographed from the ISS. Now there was a very, very weird advert on a couple of years ago. Let's see, I wonder if it's still there. But it's like this really weird extra long advert. Black Knight. I think it was for Coke or something. And Black Knight advertisement. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, where is it? Yeah. Here we go. Black Knight a Pepsi. This is by Pepsi, yeah. Have a watch. I'll put this in the bloody. Hang on, I'm going to put this in the description if this is the one. This is kind of mini there's this kind of almost mini movie. This is here it is. Here it is. Let me just. What have I done? Hang on. It's almost like a mini movie of which tells a story. It's like a mini story, which tells a story of like these people who discover this conspiracy, and they realize it's connected to this thing in space, this black knight. And it is a Pepsi advert, DJ. Yes, it's. I've just put a link in the chat box for it. And there's this kind of weird kumbaya moment where everyone sort of holds hands and around the earth, and this thing comes to life, and it's very sort of like utopian ending. I remember I covered this a couple of years ago because it was actually came out a couple of years ago. And I mentioned this. I actually mentioned this on one of my UFO disclosure videos. Very strange indeed. Very strange. Good looking honky. The Black Knight is nothing more than Bill Cosby orbiting Earth in a spacecraft. So that's where he's hiding out, honky. He'll do anything to escape the law. Right. Gosport. UFOs at Gosport. Right. Hello, Creative Imaginings. Welcome. How are you? Have a look at that Black Knight. That weird. It talks about Nikola Tesla discovering this satellite orbiting the Earth. It's been there for 13,000 years. And you see these people. There's like who are sort of on the run from the secret government. And there's this. And I can't remember. Yeah, these sort of like FBI people turn up, or these men in black turn up, and they have to go on the run. It's like a really weird. And they put up a kind of like a signaling, like a fireworks signaling thing, and then everyone puts up these symbols, and oh my god. The thing is, like, it's quite good. It's quite entertaining. It's quite interesting that they put out an advert of this theme, but the very fact that at the end it says, "Hey, drink Pepsi," just spoils it. All right, I'll look into the Gosport thing, David. Personally, I think it's junk. Is that the advert, Ben? I'm glad. Creative Imaginings, thanks for joining me, and thanks for your comments on the Helen Duncan video. I appreciate that, because I know you really enjoyed the Helen Duncan video, and that's really, really nice. I'm glad you did. Raiden Rhythm says, visiting places like Castle Ruins, looking for unusual things, unusual structures in the woods. YouTube mates with Deborah Hatswell. Oh, right, you know Deborah Hatswell. That's cool. In the movie Paul was a disclosure movie to test public reaction. Was it, Tina? I mean, Paul was really funny. I've got a copy of the DVD of Paul. As I went to see it at the cinema, and I didn't like it. I thought it was just taking the Mickey. I thought it was a stupid Mickey take of people like us, UFO people who were into all UFO enthusiasts were into comics and things like that. And we're like big children, basically. But it grew on me. It really grew on me, and now I love that film. Now I think it's really excellent. DJ, you saw UFOs over Portsmouth. Oh, interesting. Funny enough, the Flying Saucer Review covered this event in Portsmouth. There was this landing, and these guys said they'd gone on board this spaceship, and they had photos of the inside of the spaceship. I remember reading about it in Flying Saucer Review. I used to get Flying Saucer Review. So that's quite something. Anyway, is there anything else anyone wants to bring up? Do you want to talk about anything else? I think we've covered everything now, I think, in terms of the Space Force, unless of course there's an update. David Vincent, hi David, what do you think about To the Stars, Tom DeLonge? To the Stars Academy is, some people described it as being a bit like Stephen Greer, and it is like the Disclosure Project in many ways, although Stephen Bassett doesn't agree, because I talked about it with him. I'm a bit dubious. For example, they put up the old Eccles photo of the balloons, the Mylar balloons, which Steve Mera exposed as being a mistaken identity. It wasn't a hoax. if someone took that by accident thinking it was something weird, but it wasn't. But anyway, they used this photo on stage during their press conference, which was a bit silly. So I'm not sure what to make of them, David. I know Tom DeLonge is a sincere guy because he runs a bookshop full of all kinds of books on UFOs, the paranormal, conspiracies and stuff. And I know a guy, actually, who lives near there and went to see it. It's in California, USA. Hi, Ben. It's MS1. Hey, have you seen The Quiet Earth? No, I haven't. Classic sci-fi film. No, I haven't seen that. No. Is that good? So, I mean, the actual, after the big fuss that came out about To the Stars, there's been very little said about it. There's very little has happened. That's the problem. They've been gone a bit quiet. Now, there's a YouTube user who's got a great name. He's called Mouthy Buddha. So check him out, Mouthy Buddha. And he did a couple of really good videos on the To the Stars Academy. And he was saying about whether if it's some kind of psyop, if it's some kind of, maybe it's a pressure valve or something because of growing public interest, or maybe it's there to put out disinformation so that people will people will go down blind alleys looking for the truth about UFOs. It could be one of those things, but it's definitely, if it is a government plant, then why have they done it? Why have they created this very elaborate hoax? And that's a question. That's an important question. I don't go along with this very fashionable idea that's promoted by people like Mark Pilkington, that basically the whole UFO thing is an artificially created modern mythology intended to launder down-to-earth intelligence operations such as secret aviation projects and things like that. The evidence for that is intermittent. I mean, it may apply to some specific cases, but the idea that the entire phenomenon can be explained by that is completely false. I've explained why in several videos now. Creative Imaginings says, I was told a long time ago that a huge wave was going to wipe out Sydney, and I was going to be saved by being beamed up to a spaceship by the White Wolf. Still waiting. Well, I hope that doesn't happen to Sydney. I've been to Sydney, Creative Imaginings. It's a really nice place. One of my favourite cities, actually. And well, obviously, if the worst happens and you get rescued by aliens, that's great. DJ Beach, I have a book by C.S. Lewis called The Quiet Earth. Right, DJ, I've not read that. I'm familiar with C.S. Lewis. I wrote a review of a biography of him recently. I know he wrote some science fiction. I've only ever read the Chronicles of Narnia, which were his most famous books. Tina Silver says, Project Camelot did an interview recently with a Welsh lady who saw the army chasing a UFO in Wales. Tina, I think that's what's her name now? Yeah, I know the one you mean. I know the lady you mean. She's the one who saw the alien where I went when I went to Bexley Heath. That's where I saw what's her bloody name? Margaret Fry. Margaret Fry you're talking about. Yeah. Yes, she I'm glad Project Camelot have interviewed her. I've not seen their interview yet. I've seen the one that Sufon did with her, Swansea UFO Network. But she's an amazing lady. She's pretty old now, but she is just full of information. She's full of all kinds of information about, and she's referring maybe that there's There's also Kaz Clark. I don't know if you know Kaz Clark, but I've interviewed her for Panwo Radio because that's very important too. That's another case. That's in Wales. That was a crash retrieval, and that was only less than 2 years ago. I'm actually going to go there soon and do some filming. But yeah, there was an event in 1974, the Berwyn Mountains incident. Margaret Fry investigated that. DJ Beauty, The Silent Planet. The Silent Planet. It was a series of books that Lewis wrote. I've not actually read them yet. There's been a history of many UFOs in Portsmouth. That's a book called Hampshire and Isle of Wight UFOs. I wonder if David Icke knows about that, because he's an Isle of Wight man. DJ Beats, who saw one myself. All right. And the second with my mum. Oh. Alex Thorpe says, the Dark Journalist X series has proven the UFO thing, Ben. Check it out. I like Dark Journalist, but I don't watch every I try to keep up with as much as I can in terms of the news, but there's a massive amount of material out there, and I sometimes like do big binge catch-ups with various people. Gaffer Gadget. Hello, Gaffer Gadget. That's a good name. In space, no one can hear you stream. Very good. But dark journalists, I do follow dark journalists. Here we go. Someone recommended me to. I think it was Tina actually recommended dark journalists to me. Yeah, it's bloody good stuff. Alice in CERN Mystery School Wonderland. Oh, right. Howard Hughes Secret Space Network. There's some brilliant stuff. He basically covers a lot of the same stuff I do. And he puts out a lot more than I do. He puts out like pretty 3 really long videos a week or something. I could never keep up with that. Dark Journalist X Series, yeah. DJ's doing a 2-hour live stream Friday night 11 GMT. Right, thanks, Tina. I'll check them out. GJB2 says Dark Journalist has been doing weekly live streams at midnight each Friday. Yeah, I mean, it's he covers a massive amount of stuff. And I generally watch his when he's finished. Sometimes it's 2 hours plus his videos, and I just watch them when I can. But as I said, there's just so much out there, and I'm trying to write my own book at the moment, and it's bloody hard work. And so it's finding the time to look at all these things. That's the tricky stuff. I'm going nearly an hour and a half now. So anyone else want to add anything else? Because I think we covered everything. I've certainly covered all the secret space program stuff, the Space Force. I suppose what we could just do now is just see what happens. But it's quite exciting, I must say. I mean, the Trump has said this. It means something. Whether it's good or bad news, at least maybe it'll break the impasse, because things just ticking along is just what I can't stand. That's what drives me out of my bloody mind. So it's just nice that we could, even if it's something bad, at least we'll know that the battle lines are drawn. And we can just get down to it and just get this over with. It's really too much. And interestingly, V8 Mo says, saw all sorts of weird, wonderful, unexplained things in the sky in South Wales coast. Yeah. V8 Mo, you might have heard of the Penturk incident, Kaz Clark. I've done an interview on her Panwell radio with her. And you saw something from the train. Saw UFOs in Warminster, Haunted Skies book about the sighting. Oh, that's John Hanson's. But yeah, John Hanson's written an encyclopedic series of books about UFOs. And Tina Silver says, recommend anyone to find the pilot episode of Captain Scala. Yeah, Tina, it's really good because it tells the backstory of the entire series. And that includes like this, the Mysterons have this base on Mars and humans blow it up. It's really interesting. It's much more morally ambiguous than most of these children's things that Jerry Anderson put out. Crave imagines things. Hey, if Trump does put Marines in space, then be Space Marines. Yeah, and I suppose so. Yeah, you could call them just Space Marines. I have Captain Scarlet Annual, says DJB2 from the 1960s. Yeah, there's some good old things like that. I've got a couple of old stuff I had when I was a kid. It's not that old, but it's still quite a few old books I've got. Phuket says, I think Trump knows Earth is flat. Why he brings these ridiculous notions. Do you think he's just having a laugh with you? Do you think if the Earth is flat, he's just teasing you? Follow the Penturk incident very closely. Yeah, really good. V8 Mose, have you seen my interview on Hapanmo Radio with Kaz Clark and Gary Jones? Check that out. Yes, it was a very dark series with Captain Scarlet, guys. Yeah. Right, we've been going for an hour and a half. So if there's nothing else, I'm going to call it a night. Okay, guys. But it's been really good. You guys in the chat box have been great. There's been some really fascinating conversations. You really have. And thanks, Tina. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I really am. So Tina, much appreciated. And Emperor Mong, DJ Boo2, Creative Imaginings, and everybody else. Night, DJ. Night, David. Night, Julian. See ya. And some brilliant comments this evening. Absolutely fantastic. It's been a really great live stream. So night, David. Night, Woody. Night, Gaffer. Night, Foodcat. and GS Evolved. See you, David. Take it easy. And night, Emperor Mole. Okay. You guys, come back soon. Keep watching. All of you guys, keep watching. There'll be more videos as soon as I can make them. And I'll do another live stream as and when it requires it. Okay. I don't know if I'll do regular live streams like Dark Journalist, but I'll do like, if something happens, I'll make sure I do a live stream to cover it. Okay. So farewell, all of you. Hospital Porters, pride and dignity. Stop the New World Order.